Hello, this is Jack, and I'd like to welcome you back to my Let's Play series on Shores of Hazeron. In this episode, we're going to build a spaceship. It's been about 3 or 4 hours since I last worked on the city. I'm going to check on its progress. Alright, we have a morale of 20. We have 330 citizens now, with only 263 jobs, so we have some labor left over to get some work done. Now, we're going to need some sort of economy for this, to be able to get the spacecraft and be able to get materials for a colony on the moon. Alright, so I'm going to go into top down. And see, everything looks built. We're going to need some rocket motors for this. And for that, I'm going to need to adjust my production of fertilizer. Alright, I'm going to disable the fertilizer construction at this farm here for now. See what we have in stock to begin with. Good, there's none built up, so it's not going to get in the way. Alright, so I'm going to start with a hydrogen collector. Then I'm going to use fertilizer using atmosphere, which will take hydrogen and air from the atmosphere to make fertilizer. And this is the refinery that does this. Refresh the building list here. And while that builds, I'm going to need an explosives factory, which will produce nitrate. And a large rocket motor factory using nitrate. And we should only need one of those for now. The first spacecraft we're going to build is going to be very small. And while those build up, I'm going to plan out a slab for the airport / spaceport. And see if we have any oil left. Yes, there is some oil to spare, so I'm going to make an oil slab because those look nice. In my opinion. So I'm going to click this drop down here, select the slab grade. And I'm going to make an 80 wide slab because it should fit most spacecraft I'll build at this place. Building's in the way there. Whoops. And that should be enough space to work with for an airport for now. Actually, I think I'll put in a landing strip as well. Just a little extra stretch along there. Should not have any shortage of space. I'll need to finish these refineries, that explosives factory, and these slabs. What else would we need? Alright, I'm going to build a smaller slab over here. And on this I can build some vehicles to make this whole thing go a bit quicker. Oh, which one is it? Probably the furthest one. Yeah, it's the smallest one. Should build quickly. Build this up real quick, set it to build SUVs, because they make building a lot faster. See what else helps building. Computers and SUVs. Computers we could do. Yes. Because we have electronics now. Going to need screwdrivers as well, so I'm going to add that to the machine shop. And that was over here somewhere. That one. I'm also going to need torque wrenches. And I should queue up an extra process of mechanical parts because we're going to start burning through those pretty quick. And I'm going to dedicate a separate machine shop to producing metal bullion to get a little bit of coin in the city. It won't be a whole lot, but it'll be enough to buy food and supplies for the trip. It'll go directly into the citizen's account, which won't be directly accessible, but it is accessible through trade and tax. And I'll set that up right now. Press F12, go to this bottom tab. I'm going to set all these to 10% for now. And I'm going to have to declare this city as the capital to actually collect that. There it is. Declare current city to be Empire Capital. And tax collection is now active. And a small amount will be collected every city report cycle. A little bit of a boring part here, just waiting for things to build. I guess in the meantime I could put up a design studio. Because one of the cooler aspects of this game is the fact that you can design your own spacecraft. You're not stuck with a pre-built set. And for that design studio, we're going to need some disks to store designs on. That is produced at the electronics factory, I believe. Yep, blank disk using metal, since we have a surplus of that now. Let's see if we're missing anything. Missing glue guns, also produced at the electronics factory. Just have to wait for this level to build before I can place the next one on top of it. And that should build fairly quickly. Let's see, what else? Probably going to want a spacesuit and a helmet at some point. Just so that I can actually step out of a ship once it's built. Otherwise you're stuck inside the ship and, well, going outside's a bad idea. queue up 2 of those. I'll change on the helmets in a bit. Good, those are all producing. They're ready to go. It's more discs than we'll need for a long time, so I'll just turn that off. Build this up. And I'll get computers started as well. That'll speed up everything just a little bit. Also required for spacecraft, we'll need computers for the control chairs. And that'll take about 6 minutes to build. Not too big a deal though. Alright, I'm going to build this rocket motor factory, figure out what's needed. Alright, and per run, this will produce 10 rocket motors, I believe, and it requires 400 nitrate and 200 metal, as well as hammers. And, well, we have the metal, we don't have the nitrate. That will take a bit. SUVs are building, there's already one built, so it should be speeding up slab construction. So I'll start working these. And there it is. We have the boost for the vehicles. Notice how quick it ticks down once everything's boosting it. The computers won't even finish by the time we've got these slabs done. Next to each slab, or next to the main slab, I'm going to need a spacecraft factory or 2 and an airport. Notice each factory projects where it will place things it builds. Just put these 2 there, and I'll put the airport right in the middle. And there's some water in the way. Now that'll work. And I may as well put an aircraft factory up over here. At some point I'll be able to build some space fighters, and that'll be fun. For now, it'll just build rockets though. Time to help the refineries along. And in the meantime, I'm going to fly over to the design studio, because I can't remotely access that one. Now I'm trapped inside. I guess if we have some SUVs here, we should probably have some gasoline for them as well. So I'm going to set up a refinery to take care of that. Alright, now I'm landed at the design studio. I need to buy a couple blank discs. Actually, I need to check my inventory space. Yeah, I have space for a few discs. And I have no money on me. I need to fix that. I need to build a bank. And here I'm going to request a loan from the city. It's a new feature in Hazeron that allows you to get a little bit of starting cash for getting your empire off the ground. Now I'm just going to go with about 100,000 for now. Should be... Well, something's a little broken right now. I'm going to have to look into that real quick. Not entirely sure how that system works, actually. I think I have to wait a city cycle before that will actually function correctly. So I am going to be back when that's ready. Alright, so I couldn't get the bank loan system to work. The city just doesn't have enough money for that yet, I guess. So what I'm going to do instead is I forged up some stone and minerals out in the wild over there, and I'm going to build a broker here and sell them to the city. Should be enough to get our first supplies to build a ship. Of course, it's nighttime again. You'll notice now I'm gaining credits for working on things as well. So the city does have a little bit of money. Alright, now I have 57 credits. That'll get me started anyway. One other thing I need to do. I need to add crates to the carpenter's build queue. And I'll just let the citizens handle that build. I'm returning to the design studio. Now there's two options here. I can enter the building designer, which will allow me to design custom buildings like this one, or I can enter the spacecraft designer. I'm going to do that. Go to top-down view just like I do outside. Notice there are marks forward, starboard, port, and aft. You want to make sure to build your ship facing forward, otherwise you'll have to download a tool from the forums and rotate the ship that way. Otherwise it won't fly quite the way you expect it to. So I'll need, for this first ship, just a little bit of bridge, a medium, smallish cargo hold, a door between the two there, put a wide door on either side of the hull, a little bit of engine room, bit of fuel storage, I'm just going to make it look a little bit streamlined here. Put a helm right in the middle. I'm not going to bother with other stations. This is just a very simple spacecraft. Basically an upgraded space rocket. I'm going to need a power control console back here. One reactor, one gravity drive, an emitter trail so that it doesn't project 3 out of nowhere. And life support. Place 2 of those down for now, since I'll have plenty of space. And of course it thinks the ship's a station because it only has one gravity drive. I also need to change that to use rocket drive, because we don't have the components to make a gravity drive yet. We have to go to the moon first. And I'm just checking over the design real quick, make sure I didn't forget anything too important. I don't have any crew space, but that's not necessary for a ship like this. I'll just manually tweak the engine at this console and then run up to the front and control it from there. The engines will drift out of tune over time, but it's not too bad on a ship this size. And I've kept the ship small enough that it doesn't have to be built at a station. Larger ships, I believe larger than 11 or 12 blocks long, have to be built in space at a station. There's room here for 512 commodities, which is plenty of space to start a basic moon colony. Enough to hold the airport, broker, and a warehouse at least. And we're going to need all of these components to build it. A few of these tools I don't have in production yet. I'll have to do that. Also, instead of grav couplings, it'll call for rocket drives, but I haven't got those yet. I'm going to save this design. And this will be the basic mooncraft. I'll save it and then burn it to disk. Also notice there are doors between the bridge and the engineering section. If you forget these doors, the ship is useless. Alright, the disk has been burnt. I'm leaving the studio. And it's quite dark outside. I'm going to fly over to one of those factories over there. And install the spacecraft job. Hit fetch to see what's missing. I'm missing the air and the rockets. And several tools. Fitting wrench, pliers, and sewing needle. Alright, so a few things need to be built. First, machine shop. I'm going to build 3 levels of that on top of our current machine shop. It can only fit 2, so I'll do that. And then build another level on top of this one over here. Going to need a refinery for air. Air using atmosphere. Seems to be the easiest way. There is water in the way there. And I'll just make this an 8-level refinery because the moon base will need air as well, and it will import it from this colony. And onto the rocket. For this, I'm going to fly back over to the Capitol building. So I got myself stuck on the factory there. While I'm flying over the carpenter, I'm going to buy a crate. Oh, there's no lumber. Whoops. Need lumber to make crate. So for that, we're going to need logs. I am going to expand a road out from the town square. Just so there's a little more space to work with. At this point, I need to reconfigure the armor to produce spacesuit helmets. And I can't build spacesuits yet because I'm missing some of the tools. I'm also going to need to queue up a new process for the machine shop. For tongs. Tongs will be required for gathering several things on the moon. Radioactives for power, and luminite and illudium for gravity drives and wormhole drives. I'm going to check on the explosives factory, see if it's making its nitrate alright. And it is. There is not much fertilizer to go around, though. Alright, good, this process is running. As is that one. Alright, now I need a logging camp. And next to that, I'll need a lumber mill. This will allow the carpenter to produce crates, which provides a very large container for storing inventory items. Kinda heavy, but it works early game. As soon as the crates are done, I'm going to buy one. Also, it seems the inventory screen now displays a graphical representation of your character. That's new. Bad crates, but a crate is a crate. And that's how much inventory space this thing gives you. Not too bad. Time to check on the spacesuits. Alright, we have helmets made, and suits will take another 7 minutes. I'm gonna cut for now and come back when those are done. Alright, the rocket motors are about to finish, and then we'll be able to start building the spacecraft. The armor has produced our spacesuit, however we'll still have to buy it, so that'll take a little while. I'm gonna check on the spacecraft factory, and tell it to run. It may take a few seconds for the server to realize the rocket motors are done. And they're done. The ship is building, and it'll be done in less than a minute. It's a very small ship, so the factory does a quick job of building it. I'll fly over to the landing pad now, and we can get into space. Five seconds left. And there it is. Poof. Oh crap. I forgot about this guy. He might actually give me a spacesuit, now that I think about it. I guess rocket's just built. Ship has no power yet, and the consoles are in the wrong position. First, I need to press P to power up the ship, and then I need to use Alt, Shift, and the brackets to move the consoles around. Going into third-person mode can help with this. The ship doesn't have much fuel, but it will be enough for now. The engines are on and they seem pretty well tuned. I'm going to head up to the helm. And the ship still has its default name, so I'm going to give it a new name now. If I can figure out where the Spacecraft tab is moved to. Ah, there we go. This will be Moonship 1. Nothing happened. Oh well, I'll worry about that later. The ship should still fly. Press O to disengage the anchor. Or is it B? 10 minutes should do the job. There we go. Ship's responding to controls now. I'm gonna have to sort that issue out later. Tap up on the arrow keys very gently. A ship this small is quite agile and will burn itself up in the atmosphere. I'm gonna hold the lateral. We are airborne. Mr. Garin there. Alright, now I need to make sure the visor on my suit's closed so I don't lose air in space. And the visor is closed. It's time to go. Generally try to keep the spacecraft's speed, listed over here, below about 150 within the atmosphere. Any faster and in a thick atmosphere, the vehicle will explode. Above 1500 meters, you're considered in space on a normal planet, and above 3000 on a gas giant. Now, since this ship has a rocket drive, if I let go of the brakes, it starts falling back into the planet. I'm just going to fly around the planet for a bit and then land back at the... Here I am using the lateral brakes to adjust the ship's attitude. Be careful on the dark side, the planet is hard to see, and if you hit the atmosphere at this speed, it will explode. I need to bring up the map to figure out where I'm at, because I'm a bit lost. And we're re-entering the atmosphere. Alright, to get back home we need to head northwest. Push the stress on this spacecraft just a little bit. The stress meter on the left here will start to go up, and if it hits the top, that's when the hull buckles, so don't let it hit the top. As you can see, while in a spacecraft's cockpit, you can see markers projected by airports in the system. That marks the airport at our city. I'm corrected. It marks the town square, not the airport. Now when landing, you do not want to hit the ground above 30 meters per second. Reactivated just as I was landing. Not a good time. Alright, we've been to space and back. That concludes today's episode. Thanks for watching. Bye.